The 2006 Grand Prix season will see the sunset on one of the greatest riders Speedway has ever seen. Six-time world champion Tony Rickardsson of Sweden is retiring from Speedway at the end of 2006 to take up four wheels. He won his first title way back in 1995, but this year is his last hurrah, and he wants to go out on top in what would be a record 7th World Championship, which would truly make him the greatest rider ever to grace the sport. Last year, his 6th title was as strong, if not stronger, than the previous 5. Kicking off at the European Grand Prix with a new format, Rickardsson didn't skip a beat, winning all 7 of his races to take the first grand final. Having played runner-up to Jason Crump in round 2, Tony was back to winning ways at round 3 in Slovenia, much to the delight of the travelling Swedish fans. And round 4, at the grandest stage of all, the Millennium Stadium Cardiff, it was Tony who brought his own fireworks. And according to the man himself, he pulled off the greatest first corner of his career, actually riding the air fence to come through and take victory on a truly inspirational night of Speedway. In Denmark, the trophy cabinet was added to again as Rickardsson took his 4th Grand Prix win of the year. Prague in the Czech Republic was the next port of call, where he ended Crump's reign, making it win number 5 and also becoming the first rider to win 4 Grand Prix in a row. And that left him with just 3 points required to equal Ivan Major's record of 6 world titles in Poland. And on a famous night in Bydgoszcz, he did just that, 6 World Championships. The first to congratulate him, the outgoing champion Jason Crump. The final round of the Grand Prix series went for the first time to Italy and Lanigo. And to wrap up a superb season, Tony once again made the final and grabbed an astonishing 6th win of the year, and again won all his races on the night. It was an incredible achievement, especially in the modern-day era when competition is so fierce that consistency over 8 months is key. Can he possibly top that in 2006?
I don't feel I really need a top. If I can keep the form I had last year, I think that's going to take me quite a long way. We haven't changed many things, what we had from last year. So I felt my bikes were really good, and obviously my team worked really well for me. So we're pretty much the same team as last year with the same equipment.
After announcing his retirement at the end of the season, how important is it to him to go for that 7th title and become the greatest rider of all time?
For me, it's if I really desperately wanted to win the 7 World title, I would keep riding until I get it. So maybe I had to keep riding until I'm 45. For me, this will be my last year, and if I can win it, great. But if I won't, it's nothing that I won't stay up all night and think about that I will do it for another year. This is my last year, and it's going to be a really tough year. There's a lot of good guys up there to fight for the title, but I feel kind of ready, so they have to ride hard to beat me.
Jason Crump certainly will do just that. The fact that he's number 2 wrangles on him, and he's desperate to beat Rickardsson while the great man's still riding. He's changed his setup from Jawa to GM in an effort to create the best package possible.
Yeah, we changed engines for this season, so I suppose a little bit stale with Jawa. I was feeling a little bit stale with them, and I think I was also struggling a little bit trying to get the engines how I wanted. But a change is as good as a rest, and it's given me a bit more enthusiasm again. I've got a load of new engines I'm playing around with, and that's pretty cool fun as well.
Mentally, he appears to be more relaxed. His frame of mind is the key to his success.
Probably a little bit calmer and a little bit more relaxed. I've started the season out really well in England and Poland, and I want to get back to really enjoying my Speedway and getting a buzz out of every time I ride my bike. And if you can do that, then that's kind of what I did a few years ago. I enjoyed racing my bike. I remembered why I started racing motorbikes as a kid, and that was really cool. And last year I kind of forgot that and started stressing out about Speedway, and Speedway and stress don't work.
Lee Adams has a lot to ponder after several 4th place finishes. Last year, he finally moved to 3rd overall in the standings. This year, he wants to equal that, if not do better.
We've been battling away there for a while, finishing a lot of 4th, and it was good to get the 3rd, but it's I think it gives you a taste for what it's all about, and to finish on the rostrum, it was nice, and we want to do it again.
2003 world champion Nicky Pedersen wants to put last year's rotten season behind him and regroup and focus without doubt on winning the title back again. There's no questioning his motivation in 2006.
This year, I'm putting 5–10% more into the GPs. Of course, I need to do a high level in the leagues, but GPs, I really have to be excited to come to the GPs and really want to do the best.
But his Achilles heel is actually his wrist, and an operation is imminent. But will it affect his season?
Well, all I can say is tonight is focused about the meeting. I really want to do well, so I don't want to make any excuses or anything. Operation is on Monday, and this one has to go well, and I want to do well in all 10 events instead of just do 90%. I want to do 100% so I can be up there and fight with the boys.
It may be 10 years since his last world title, but after several strong podiums last year, Greg Hancock is still hungry for a Grand Prix win, if perhaps not even a title shot.
I'm chasing the World Championship, so for me it's all go now, and it's been a lot of years since I won the championship, and I feel better than ever now, so you know, it all starts here in Slovenia. We put a lot of work and time and effort into the engines this year and the bikes, and I'm more ready than I've ever been, so it's just time to go out there and show everybody what I can do.
But Greg, like the rest of the field, is keeping one eye on the omnipotent Rickardsson.
We know it's going to be tough to beat him, but everybody wants to be the world champion, so you're going to have to beat him along with the rest of the gang. And probably like Billy Hamel said when Hans Nielsen retired, is finally.
Round 1 of the 2006 season starts off in Slovenia. It's the 5th time the series has been here, and it kicks off a full complement of 10 Grand Prix, including 1 new venue. Crisco, the location then for round 1. Then on to Poland for round 2. Then it's Eskilstuna in Sweden. Famous Millennium Stadium for round 4 in Cardiff. Parken in Copenhagen for 5. Then it's back to Lonigo in Italy. Melilla in Sweden. More thrills there, I'm sure. Prague in the Czech Republic. Then it's on for the first time ever to Latvia and round 9. And it all finishes up at the famous Bydgoszcz circuit in Poland. On though and back to Slovenia and round 1. The new format started last year, continues this season, and for those new to Speedway, here's how it works. 15 riders have qualified, with 1 wildcard rider to be added to each event, bringing the total to 16. They will contest 20 heats in total, with 5 rides each, to score points according to the race results, 3 for a win, 2 for second, and 1 for third. Every rider races against each other at some stage. The top 8 riders after Heat 20 go through to the semi-final stages, and the winner and runner-up from the 2 semis go through to the final. 3rd and 4th are out. The top scorer in both semi-finals gets the best pick of the gates, and the winner collects 25 crucial points towards the title battle. An excellent crowd once again of almost 10,000 from all over Europe and the rest of the world to see the first Grand Prix of 2006. Heat 7 saw Rickardsson with his second outing of the evening up against Nicky Pedersen. Pedersen took the lead early on, but then Rickardsson on the charge, round the outside as only a champion can, in brilliant style to take the lead. Pedersen went in pursuit, but could do nothing. Tony with the tiger in his tag yet again to take victory number 2 and lead the board ahead of Lee Adams with 5. Equal was Nicky Pedersen, also Andreas Jonsson with 5. 2 former world champions in Crump and Hancock still in pursuit, with the 2 Brits, Scott Nicholls and Lee Richardson, in 6th and 8th.
Well, business as usual for Tony Rickardsson, the 6 points after 2 rides out front.
Yeah, but he's coming out the outside now in yellow, alongside him in white, Jarek Hampel. Scott Nicholls in this one, he needs points in blue. Jason Crump is on the inside with 4 points at the moment. This is Heat 9. Interesting to see how Rickardsson and Crump fare from the outside and the inside. Nothing's been won from the outside, or hardly anything.
Yeah, the outside gate's been really tough tonight, so Rickardsson up against it. Jason Crump on the inside, Scott Nicholls there. Steady start to the meeting, but wants to keep the points coming.
Away they go then, Rickardsson with a good start, but a better start from Nicholls. Crump goes with him up the inside, nice move, and Nicholls has got it as they go down the back straight. Crump's right there with him, and Rickardsson flies into 3rd place. Hampel not with a good start in white at the back.
Yeah, terrific start there from Scott Nicholls, but he locks up there, coming under pressure from Crump and Rickardsson, but Nicholls makes that first lap his. He's got to keep the throttle wide open because there's going to be plenty of pressure.
Here come the former world champion and the current world champion. Nicholls with work to do here. He really is trying hard, but he's holding them both off, and here comes Crumpy. Good move from Crumpy up the inside, but so too comes Rickardsson. They're both on his tail. Scott Nicholls trying everything he can to hold them both off. Crumpy comes round the outside and takes the lead. Nicholls settles for second for the moment, but Rickardsson's not done with this one. Hampel out of it.
Crump hits the front. Here comes Rickardsson up into 2nd spot. Disappointment there for Nicholls. Looked like he was going to hang on to the lead, but just doesn't show the pace. Got to say, a fabulous effort from Crump. Now Rickardsson sets after Crump.
Crump, though, looks as though he has it in the bag. Poor old Nicholls. He started first and gone back to 3rd, and Crump's going to take it ahead of Rickardsson. Great heat, great racing, great speedway. Excellent stuff from Heat 9. Jason Crump, the winner, with 3 points. An important one for him psychologically over the world champion, Tony Rickardson. Scott Nichols will have to settle for third and 1 point. And Jarek Hampel not having a good night.
No, but this man certainly is there. You can see he's had the 2 wins and the 3rd place out of that difficult gate 4. And you've got to say he's delighted with that ride. And that certainly puts him in good position for the semi-finals.
Yeah, rare smile from Jason Crump then. Back up at Tate's. On to Heat 10. Greg Hancock coming from the outside, Nicky Pedersen, Lee Adams and Andreas Jonsson. Andreas Jonsson on the inside with 5 points. And in fact, 3 riders with 5. And Greg Hancock, the former world champion from 1997, with work to do.
Greg Hancock started in fine style in his opening ride, but he's up against it coming off the outside. And big guns underneath him.
Away they go then. Andreas Jonsson from the inside with a good start, but a better start from Lee Adams in blue. He goes round the outside and picking it up now. Andreas Jonsson again. But in white, it's Nicky Pedersen in 2nd place now. A good second turn from Nicky.
Fabulous start there from Lee Adams. Nicky Pedersen put him under a lot of pressure down that back straight. For a moment, I thought he was going to be able to force his way into the lead. But look at Adams round the outside there, showing fantastic speed, pulling away at the front.
Lee Adams in a world of his own out front. No such luck for Greg Hancock out of the outside. He's in 4th and struggling, but the battle is still on for 2nd and 3rd. And at the moment, Andreas Jonsson putting a lot of pressure on Nicky Pedersen. But Pedersen has ridden brilliantly so far tonight, but he ain't going to catch Lee Adams at this rate. Lee Adams now with 5 bite lengths lead.
Yeah, he's away with it. He's got the 3 points in the bag, but this battle for 2nd is terrific. Jonsson really trying inside, outside, every move he knows, trying to keep Nicky Pedersen under pressure. He's doing that, but Pedersen, I think, is just about going to hang on.
Great racing for 2nd and 3rd. Lee Adams is going to put this one in the bag. One more try for Andreas Jonsson around the outside, but Pedersen's going to hold on to take 2 points. Lee Adams wins that one in style. Great start from him. Keeps him in contention for the Slovenian Grand Prix. The first of the year, remember. So important, this one, to get off well. Nicky Pedersen's definitely in contention. Andreas Jonsson tried hard, but 1 point was all that came from it. Greg Hancock from the outside with nothing.
Yeah, great ride there from Lee Adams on the 8 points. Just dropped that 1 point in the opening race to Jason Crump. But since then, 2 immaculate victories. And you've got to say, this man looks in great form.
Talking of great form, Matty Zagar's been looking good too. Didn't score too many good points from his first few rides. He's starting to come on strong. Thomas Golub in this one, Antonio Limbach, Matty Furjan coming up the inside. Watch out for Golub from gate 3. He needs some points. He's only got 2 at the moment.
Yeah, they're a difficult start to the meeting. Rickardson there keenly keeping an eye on proceedings. Certainly all these riders here are desperate for points.
Up go the tapes and a good start from the outside from Matty Zagar, but on the inside it's in red. Matty Furjan and Antonio Limbach starts well, but round the outside comes Thomas Golub, classic pole style, and that's just what we expect from Golub.
Fabulous move from Golub around the outside, used the dirt, hits the front. This is much more like the Golub we're used to seeing. Certainly in his opening rides he was well off the pace, but here he's out front and beginning to show some good form. Up the inside there, Furjan, the wild card, doing a great job.
Yeah, good move from Antonio Limbach in 3rd as well. Round the outside goes Matty Zagar again to try and pick up the grip, but it's not going to be. And Thomas Golub is going to take this one by the looks of things. Matty Furjan pushing hard, trying to go up the inside, and does for a moment, but here comes Golub round the outside to hold on. Great racing again, and Matty Furjan pushing every which way. Antonio Limbach not out of it, and look, Matty Zagar's still there.
Yeah, good move there from Matty Furjan, really keeping Golub honest. Golub was riding a little bit too wide and all of a sudden has had to actually begin to block that run from Furjan, but now he's got the race under control.
Yeah, Golub in control as we head to the end of this one. Matty Furjan with a good race in 2nd, but he's still got work to do to hold off the rest of them. He does do that and takes 2 points in 2nd place, but Golub takes the full 3. So a good win for Thomas Golub then with 3 points. The pole starting to look on great form. 2 points to Matty Furjan. Antonio Limbach rode hard, but only 1 point. And Matty Zagar, despite that good start, with nothing.
Yeah, that's much more like it from Golub there. You can see just the 2 points from his first 2 rides. Disappointing, and then all of a sudden the big 3 puts him right back in the meeting and looking much more like his old self.
Heat 12 and Lee Richardson took on the two Danes, Bjarne Pedersen and Niels Christian Iversen, as well as Pepe Protasiewicz of Poland. Bjarne took the early lead, Protasiewicz falling off early on. Lee Richardson soon hit the front and Iversen went with him. Luckily, the pole got back on and that meant the race went into a cracking battle between Niels Christian Iversen in the blue helmet, but then Lee Richardson in the white helmet coming through on the inside, only for Iversen to do exactly the same thing. This continued like cat and mouse for the rest of the race. And somehow, Lee Richardson held on to take an important victory for the Englishman.
Yeah, I went off the wrong setup in the first race. I made a good start, but the setup was wrong, so we came back, changed it, and it's worked a lot better since then. The trouble is, because you do practice during the day and it's hot, and obviously in the evening now the temperature's dropped and it's a little bit damp, the track's totally different and the air's different, so you've got to change your setup as you go on because the track's just getting slicker and slicker, so hopefully we make the right change and win some more races.
A look at the table at the midway point shows that Tony Rickardsson and Lee Adams are out top with 8 points. In pursuit, Crump and Pedersen with 7. And Thomas Golub and Scott Nichols just at the moment in a semi-final berth. Antonio Lindback, Hancock and Zagar all in with a chance. Further down, Bjarne Pedersen, the Dane, having a tough night. And so too, new boy Niels Christian Iversen, a real baptism of fire.
Yeah, really tough. I mean, had 2 bad rides in the first 2 and changed bike, and I feel like the second bike is going a lot quicker, so we stick with that.
Yeah, at the end of your second ride, I think the bike gave up the ghost. Do you know exactly what was wrong?
One of the fuel pipes came off on the tank, so run empty.
Lindback, on his second full season in the Grand Prix, also has a lot to do with only 4 points from 3 rides. And Matty Zagar, another youngster starting out, has yet to reach his top form.
Yeah, it's not the best I wanted, but it's still, I got some points and I hope I'm going to get better. 9 GPs to go and a half, you know, so I can't get really too excited and either way not be disappointed, so I got to keep it focused and keep it going.
10 rounds in all, but an important night for all the top riders and an important night for a lot of the men not scoring points. Pepe Protasiewicz is one of those, and 2 Poles who need points. Pepe has just 1, and on the outside, Jaris Hampel has 2 points. Andreas Jonsson in blue with 6, and Matty Zagar with 3, the local man. A lot of support for him tonight.
Yeah, there certainly is, the hometown boy, and he'll be looking for a big ride here because he's struggling a little bit tonight, and he's desperate for some points to get into the semi-final.
Away they go then. Good start from Andreas Jonsson up the inside to take the lead, just ahead of Pepe Protasiewicz. But here comes in white Matty Zagar into second place, but flying through from the back. Jarek Hampel making a move now.
Yeah, but it's Jonsson out front. He made a perfect start from gate 2. Zagar there all of a sudden beginning to find some form. He squeezed up the inside and forced Protasiewicz out of the way, but look at Zagar, hits the front.
Well, the crowd go wild. Zagar hits the front, and finally the man is turning good. As you mentioned, he had a good run here last year, and he hits the front in style. Andreas Jonsson will try to react, but I don't think he can. He's close with him at the moment, but it's Matty Zagar who leads this one, and these 2 are pulling away at the front.
Yeah, just what Zagar needs. He needs 3 points here to keep himself in contention. Jonsson there just caught napping, but I've got to say they pulled again from Hampel. Hampel again off the pace, but Zagar out front, back to his best.
Slovenian Grand Prix, and it's a Slovenian who's leading at the moment. The cameras go off, the air horns go off for their local man, Matty Zagar, doing a great job. Going through the ruts, but pulling away from Jonsson now. And to take this one in style, he made an excellent move on lap 2. And you can see that expression says it all, the body language. Matty Zagar didn't start well, but he's coming good now. Another 3 points for him from heat 13. Andreas Jonsson in second. Jarek Hampel gets 1 point. Not a good night for the pole. And Pepe Protasiewicz with nothing.
Here we see it here. Now this move now right up the inside there. Zagar finds a little bit of extra grip, a little bit of extra drive, and forces his way to the front. And that delights the home crowd here. They're really pleased to see him back on top form. Here we see his points so far this evening. A difficult start, just three points from his first 3 rides, and then comes in with the big win there. Delighted with it.
The expression says it all. On to heat 14 then. Greg Hancock from the inside, Bjarne Pedersen in blue, Matty Furjan in gate 3, and Tony Rickardsson from the outside again. Hancock looking for points. Tony Rickardsson so far on a perfect night. From the inside, Hancock will need some points from this. An anxious Jason Crump watching on, keeping a very watchful eye on Rickardsson this evening. Hancock desperate to score from the inside here, but he's got to hold off Rickardson. Away they go then, and a good start from Bjarne Pedersen in blue. Hancock goes round the inside and gets into second place, but here comes Rico. Nice move from him from last to third, and now almost into second. He's pushing hard already. Round the outside goes Rickardson now.
Yeah, he's really trying very hard. That outside gate really is not favourable at all. It's the boys from the inside there, Greg Hancock and Bjarne Pedersen, that made the best of the way to the first turn. But look at Rickardson generating so much speed down the back straight. Fabulous move once again from the world champion.
Sitting in his armchair and going wide and high and into second place and just holding him off at the moment. Here's Bjarne Pedersen, but again, now he cuts to the inside. Oh, this is brilliant stuff by Rickardson. He takes the lead and makes it look easy.
Fabulous move from Rickardson, really right at his best there. Was out of it on the first lap, but he's forced his way to the front. He's passed two world-class performers and made it look easy. Sensational.
Bjarne isn't done though, and he comes for one more look up the inside, but he's not going to stop Rickardson at the moment. Now he tries round the outside. Bjarne Pedersen in blue. In red, Greg Hancock in third place, and it's these three, but Rickardson takes it in style. Bjarne Pedersen pushed him all the way, but that was vintage Tony Rickardson, the current world champion, with another brilliant 3 points. Second place goes to Bjarne Pedersen. Good start, but he couldn't hold off the charging Rico. Greg Hancock from the inside takes 1 point, and Matty Furjan takes 4.
Here we see it once again. You can see on the inside, Bjarne Pedersen in the blue helmet colour makes a great start. Hancock there, puts his front wheel right over the white line. He's desperate to try and find a little bit of grip up the inside. Just about pulls it off too. There, ooh, they're getting mighty tight down the back straight. Rickardson forces his way into third spot at this stage. But now, he's dealt with Hancock, and watch this move down the inside here. This is just classic move in the inside, clean, fast. You've got to say the man's right on it tonight.
No question about it. Total points 11 for Tony Rickardson. An immaculate pit. Immaculate preparation, as always, with the Swede. Going for his 7th world title, remember, this year. On then to 15, Scott Nichols, Thomas Golub, Lee Richardson and Lee Adams. Those 2 Brits, the pole and the Aussie from the outside. 5 points for Scotty Nichols, 6 points for Lee Richardson. Thomas Golub also needing points.
Oh, difficult night for Hampel so far. He's struggling, but all these riders are in it. They're right in the points tonight, so plenty of tension here.
Way they go then. And in blue, it's a good start from Thomas Golub. At the inside goes Nichols into second place. And now in white coming through, Lee Richardson in third. Round the outside goes Lee Adams, trying to find some grip round the outside. This is a close race, and all of them need points. The foot comes off the peg for a moment for Scotty.
Yeah, fabulous opening lap there from Thomas Golub, really finding his form once again, made a fantastic start. There's the 2 teammates at the back there from the Swindon Robins. Lee Adams eventually getting past Lee Richardson, but Scott Nichols in second place, again having a good solid ride.
Thomas Golub then leads the way. Scotty's trying to find some grip round the inside. He's holding on to second place in a great battle for third, and that last point at the moment between Lee Adams and Lee Richardson.
Yeah, that's eventually Lee Adams has now made that third place his, but you've got to say Thomas Golub has turned his meeting completely around. After 2 third places, this looks like it could be the 2nd consecutive win, and he really does look on song.
Well, this is great to see Golub back to his form, and of course Rocklow coming up next in round 2. So if he can get a good result out tonight, which is done in this heat, and taken 3 points, who knows what he can do in 2006. Travelling Polish fans happy with that one. The full 3 points then to Thomas Golub. Second place, the Englishman, Scotty Nichols with 2 points. Lee Adams takes just 1 point from third, and no score for Lee Richardson.
Yeah, Golub there with his crew just chatting about his performance tonight. There you can see the last 2 rides, a maximum score of 6 points. He must have done something very significant there because the first 2 rides were really poor, but he's on top form now.
On then to heat 16, Antonio Lindback of Sweden. Alongside him, Jason Crump, he has 7 points. Niels Christian Iversen only 2, and Nicky Pedersen. So Crump and Pedersen go head-to-head in this one. Pedersen in yellow on the outside, Crump in blue from gate 2. Crump gets away well. But it's a tight start as they go into turn 2, and it's really tight indeed. But in blue, Jason Crump picks it up, or does he? Pedersen fighting hard with Antonio Lindback, and Nicky Pedersen at the back at the moment.
Yeah, Nicky Pedersen left there on the outside and found it very difficult, but watch him now. Oh, what a move from Pedersen up the inside, forces his way in the second spot. Meanwhile, Crump away from that gate 2 has pulled a decent lead. He's away from the pressure, but the race is all about second place.
Yeah, and Antonio Lindback's right in it there. Nicky Pedersen may be tough, but Antonio Lindback, the Swede, is really pushing hard too. Neck and neck between all three of them for second place here. Crump's away with it, but who's going to take second place? Back down the back straight they go again, and Antonio Lindback trying to hold off Nicky Pedersen, who goes round the outside this time.
Yeah, it's Antonio Lindback. He's all over the track. He's desperate for the points. Pedersen now gets through into third place. Neverson being forced back into the last place. But there, Pedersen, just lifted at the vital moment. Otherwise, he may just have got to second. But Lindback now covering the inside line once again.
Great run by Antonio Lindback, the Swede. Jason Crump's going to take victory. Antonio Lindback takes second. And Nicky Pedersen, despite that brilliant move up the inside, would only finish third. Jason Crump then another 3 points from gate 2. Antonio Lindback, superb ride by the young Swede. He held off Nicky Pedersen, who just took 1 point out of that, but not the work of trying. Niels Christian Iversen with no points from that.
Here we see it once again. You've got to say that Crump's bike really hooked up well out of gate 2. Gate 2 working really well tonight, but it gets awfully tight as they come off this corner. Antonio Lindback, I think he may have had both wheels almost on the inside there, but Crump hits the front. Iversen and him battling away down the back straight. Pedersen says, well, I'm going to have some of that too. Look, he dives up the inside, forces Iversen out the way. Iversen has to get out of the throttle. That leaves a big hole. Lindback then dives back up the inside of Pedersen. What a fabulous move and what a fabulous race.
And a look at the table, Tony Rickardsson out on top with 11, ahead of Jason Crump, but the real interest is on that orange line. You've got to be in the semi-finals and into the top 8. Lee Richardson there at the moment, but as you can see, Matty Zagart and Antonio Lindback knocking on the door with exactly the same points. Yeah, Lindback definitely in contention now, and likewise Zagart. There's Jason Crump.
Yeah, some concern there, but what I'm interested in is that he's changed his motors this year from Jawa to GM, and they're certainly working here well tonight.
The lineup for Heat 17 looks like this. 3 points for Jarek Hampel off the inside. Likewise, Matty Furjan with 3. Nicky Pedersen from gate 3, and Lee Richardson on the outside.
Yeah, Zagart there taking interest. He's beginning to force his way into the meeting there. The wild card Furjan. He's picked up his performance, but Lee Richardson, desperate for points, wants to make the semis.
Oh, a bit of movement there from the start. Nicky Pedersen, will he get away with it?
Well, the red lights aren't on, so he has got away with it, but he's forcing his way around the outside. Ordinarily, you've got to say that could have been an unsatisfactory start, but the referees allowed it to continue. And Pedersen there's taking full advantage, hits the front.
Yeah, Hampel had it early on, but now Pedersen's come through to take the lead. Lee Richardson at the back at the moment. Matty Furjan in blue.
Yeah, Pedersen showing great speed out front. He's pulling away. Hampel there beginning to show some signs of some sort of speed and pace, but Lee Richardson plugging away around the inside, desperate for 2 points.
Normal service resumed then for Nicky Pedersen, but the rest need points.
Yeah, here comes Lee Richardson up the inside. Great move, but Hampel's back. Oh, it gets tight going into turn 3, but Lee Richardson really worked hard. He's got to desperately try and hang on to that second place.
Well, it's tight now for the 2 points, and it really is close. Away with it at the moment, Nicky Pedersen, but who's going to take second? And they're all in it. Matty Furjan tries to join the party, but at the moment, it's Nicky Pedersen out front. Lee Richardson trying to score points, and Hampel trying to get into this Grand Prix. Across the line they come then, and Nicky Pedersen takes the win. And he'll be going through to the semi-finals. Another excellent 3 points from the Dane. Lee Richardson's second points will help him. He's right on the edge of the semi-finals. That'll help a lot. And Jarek Hampel now pretty much out of it with just 1 point. Likewise, Matty Furjan with no points.
Here we see the move from Pedersen up the inside of Hampel there. What a forceful move that rider is. And certainly he made that 3 points his and guarantees a semi-final spot.
On then to Heat 18. On the inside, Antonio Lindback currently on 6 points in red. Greg Hancock, 4. He needs points. Pepe Protasevich is out of it. Not a good night for him. Scotty Nichols with 7 from the outside here.
Yeah, this is unbelievable stuff here for Greg Hancock. Started so brilliantly, has only scored a solitary point since then. Really, a race win is all it's about, and even that might not be enough. Scott Nichols on the outside, points needed for him. Certainly, he needs to make a brilliant start.
Heat 18 is away then. Not a good start at all by Pepe Protasevich, right at the back. but they're fighting hard, and in the middle of it is Scotty Nichols in yellow, coming round the outside now of Antonio Lindback.
Fabulous move there from Scott Nichols down the outside. You've got to say that he showed tremendous courage to force his way to the front. Unbelievably, once again, Greg Hancock made a great start, but just literally got blown away going down the back straight. Finds himself back in third spot. His evening's work could well be over.
So Scotty Nichols leads from Antonio Lindback in the red helmet. In blue is Greg Hancock, and at the back, at the moment, it's Pepe Protasiewicz of Poland.
Yeah, Protasiewicz really has been very disappointing tonight, but Scott Nichols, this is the sort of form we want to see from him. He's out front. He's coming under pressure, though, from Lindback. Lindback really beginning to wind it up.
Yeah, no question about it. The Swede is on the charge at the moment. Nichols got work to do to hold on to that lead and take the 3 points. And again goes wide. Antonio Lindback to pick up the grip, and he's coming on Nichols now. Oh, brilliant move by Antonio Lindback. He finds speed and finds grip and takes the lead. Nichols will try and cut up the inside. He does, but it's a real fight to the line, and Antonio Lindback just gets it from Scotty Nichols. What a ride from the Swede. Excellent stuff from Antonio Lindback with 3 points. But Scotty Nichols 2 points, good enough to get him into the semi-finals. Greg Hancock's 1 point, that won't be good enough. He started well, but he's out of it now. And likewise, Pepe Protasiewicz, the pole, also out.
Yeah, another great effort here and another terrific Speedway race. Here you see Greg Hancock makes a fantastic start, makes the mistake of drifting too wide, and the two boys there underneath him, the Lindback and Scott Nichols, just force their way by him. Look how tight that was down the back straight. Unbelievable Speedway once again. Nichols showing great form, but Lindback, after a slow start, all of a sudden, finding the setup, finding the speed, forces his way to the front, and once again, he may just be able to creep into the semi-finals with that sort of ride.
Cracking night Speedway so far, and great sportsmanship around, but that was a real exemplary performance by Antonio Lindback. And a look at the table after 18 heats. Tony Rickardsson and Nicky Pedersen equal on 11 points, but the real battle is for the semi-final berth, and Lee Richardson will have to sit tight as Thomas Gollop, Andreas Jonsson, and Matty Zagart still with rides to come, and still with the possibility of getting in that semi.
Yeah, Zagar's the one that's interesting to me because he's got a hell of a race coming up with Lee Adams and Tony Rickardsson. He comes out of gate 2. That's been working really well so far this evening, so he could just make it.
Antonio Lindback with 9 points. We've called him the future star. I think he's the star of today.
Yeah, but look how important those gate 1 was for him, the inside gate there. 5 points from his last 2 rides. That's really what made the difference for him tonight.
On to 19 then, heat 19. Thomas Gollop in red off the inside. Andreas Jonsson with 8 points in gate 2. Bjarne Pedersen with 4. Jason Crump on the outside. This is a big one for Andreas Jonsson and Thomas Gollop. They've got to win this one, but they've got some tough competition.
They have indeed. Scott Nichols there looking on with interest. Certainly Jason Crump will want big points again because he wants that good pick, the first pick for the semi-finals.
Away they go then. From the inside, Thomas Gollop got away well, but Andreas Jonsson on the inside in blue needs the points, remember. And at the back at the moment, Jason Crump, but he's coming through now hard. And in white, Bjarne Pedersen picking up some grit there.
Terrific start there from the inside from Gollop. Amazingly, Andreas Jonsson out of the favoured gate 2 went nowhere. He finds himself at the back, and he probably needs 1 more point at least to make the semi-final, so he's going to have to ride like his life depends upon it. But out front, Gollop once again really showing terrific form.
Quick look over the shoulder from Gollop, but Bjarne Pedersen's right there with him, and round the outside again goes Jason Crump. Gollop looking for his 3rd victory from 3 different gates, and he's out front, but here comes Crumpy, and he's past Bjarne Pedersen and now goes in pursuit of Thomas Gollop.
Yeah, fabulous move from Crump. Oh, he gets tight there. Great move there from Gollop to stop the run of Crump. Crump then dives back to the inside. Wants that 3 points, wants the victory, but you've got to say Gollop really at his best out front.
No question about it. Thomas Gollop, the pole. A rejuvenated look from him. Crump can do nothing in 2nd place. He looks behind. Bjarne Pedersen will take up 1 point from that. But a great ride once again from the pole, Thomas Gollop. He takes 3 points and flies into that semi-final now. Jason Crump with another 2 points, and that will help his semi-final pick. Bjarne Pedersen with just 1 point. And in 4th, Andreas Jonsson really needed some points from that one and didn't get them. So Jason Crump out on top, Rickardsson with 1 ride to go, Gollop up there in 3rd place, Lee Richardson holding on to 8th place, but Matty Zagart in 10th, still with an opportunity and 1 more ride. The others are going to have to wait.
Yeah, the rest of them, they're out of it, but Zagar's the one that could force Lee Richardson out. If he manages to win his last ride, he can get into the semi-finals. Got to say, this man's in the semi-finals on 11 points. Brilliant performance in his last 3 rides. And he could be a danger for the win here tonight, really showing terrific speed.
On then to heat 20, Matty Zagar, the man to watch in blue from gate 2. Alongside him, Lee Adams on the inside, Tony Rickardson and Niels Christian Iversen. Matty Zagar with work to do. He may be riding at home, but he's got to beat Tony and Lee Adams to get into that semi-final.
Yeah, terrific hard race there. Lee Richardson there with a real nervous weight now. He's on the cusp there. If Zagar wins this race, it will push him out of the semi-finals. So a tough wait for him. Scott Nichols in. He's a bit more relaxed, but this is the big one. This is the one that counts for the hometown favourite.
All eyes then on gate 2 in blue. Matty Zagar, away they go, and Zagar does get away well from gate 2 and into the lead. Just what he wanted. Lee Adams goes in pursuit, and in white, Tony Rickardson in 3rd.
A terrific start there from Zagar, under tremendous pressure. He hits the front. He's desperate for the 3 points. He's going to be chased very hard by Tony Rickardson and Lee Adams, but Zagar out front and looks good.
Yeah, but he's got to hold off these 2 brilliant riders, Lee Adams and Tony Rickardson. It's going to be a long, long race for him. He knows that this is a possibility. Crowd willing him on. A chance to get into the semi-finals here. He was 3rd here last year. Now can he hold off these brilliant riders to make it into that semi?
He's doing a good job at the moment. All he's got to do now is just hold his composure, mustn't get out of shape. Rickardson trying everything he knows, but Zagar, if he just holds it together, he can do it.
Lee Adams looking strong, and Niels Christian Iversen comes off at the back in 4th. He wasn't in contention. Let's hope they don't stop the race. For Zagar's sake, they haven't, and Zagar's going to hold on to it. But here comes Rickardson, and Adams is right there. Iversen will get out of the way, and this race needs to finish. The crowd on their feet now for Zagar.
Yeah, fantastic. He's just going to do this. He's going to get there. Zagar makes it 3 points for him into the semi-finals.
Well, poor old Niels Christian Iversen is out, but Zagar is on one wheel in celebration. The Slovenians are delighted with that. 3 points and a semi-final berth for Matty Zagar. 3rd place last year. Could he do it this year? Tony Rickardson with 2nd place and 2 points. 1 point to Lee Adams. He too will be through to the semis. And Niels Christian Iversen not finishing that one.
Yeah, terrific effort here from Zagar. You've got to say he was under tremendous pressure off the start, but here he is out front. There's Niels Christian Iversen just slipping off at the back, just gets out of shape on the way into the corner. The bike gets unsettled, down he goes. He's not injured. He was able to get up out of the way, and the race didn't have to be stopped. And that was great news for the home fans.
And there's the table after 20, and the top 8 going through to the semi-finals. Tony Rickardson leading the way with 13, just ahead of Jason Crump with 12, Golovin Pedersen with 11. Disappointment for Lee Richardson falling out. Scotty Nichols, though, fellow countryman, does make it through.
Yeah, you got to feel for Lee Richardson. That's a superb ride from Zagar, pushes him out. But also disappointment there for some top line riders there. Below the cut line, Greg Hancock, Bjarne Pedersen, Jarek Hampel, all missing out this time around, all previous winners. So, yeah, a tough Grand Prix all round.
The crowd have been given a cracking night Speedway so far, and it's on to the semi-finals. And in semi-final 1, Rickardson, Pedersen, Matty Zagar and Antonio Lindback. In semi-final 2, Jason Crump, Thomas Gollop, Lee Adams and Scotty Nichols.
Yeah, interesting here is that the fact that Tony Rickardson and Jason Crump, the top scorers respectively, have gone for gate 2 and leaving themselves a little bit vulnerable, but there Crump deciding that gate 2 was the best gate. And we'll see if it pans out for Rickardson in the first semi.
Semi-final 1 then. On the inside in red is Nicky Pedersen. Alongside him is arch nemesis Tony Rickardson. Matty Zagar, the local favourite, is in white in 3. And Antonio Lindback, who knows what he might do out of gate 4, but not many wins out of there tonight. Lee Adams watches on, just clears his eyes. He wants to keep a close eye on this one. He's up next in the second semi-final.
Yeah, Rickardson goes for gate 2. Will it work out now?
Up go the tapes then for semi-final 1. Out of gate 2, Rickardson. But up the inside, Matty Zagar. But out front, it's Nicky Pedersen in red.
Pedersen made a fabulous start there from gate 1, but it was Rickardson. They were neck and neck, but Pedersen forces Rickardson wide. Pedersen looks like he's going to get away at the front. He has done. Zagar, though, he's desperate to make the final in front of his home fans, but Rickardson's going to be mighty difficult to pass.
He is indeed. Antonio Lindback in yellow at the back is out of this one at the moment, but out front, it's Nicky Pedersen ahead of the world champion. Tony Rickardson, of course, going for 7 world titles. But Nicky Pedersen wants the title back. He won in 2003.
Yeah, great stuff from Nicky Pedersen. He really took full advantage of that first corner. On the inside there, really just so forceful there and pushed Rickardson out of the way.
Matty Zagar, desperate to get into that final. He's in third at the moment, and he's got to try and get past Rico. Antonio Lindback out of it as we go into the last lap. Going wide and high goes Nicky Pedersen, but he's going to take this in style for sure, and Rickardson's going to follow him home.
Yeah, a great effort from Nicky Pedersen. He's through to the final, he's delighted. Rickardsson hanging on for second spot.
Good stuff by Nicky Pedersen. He's going under the knife next week. Right now, he's as sharp as you like with first place and into the final. Tony Rickardsson into the final with second place. And eliminated our Matty Zagar. Home fans will be disappointed by that, but it's been a good outing, and likewise Antonio Lindback, a good run by him.
All about the start here. You've got to say Rickardsson and Nicky Pedersen neck and neck away, but it's Nicky Pedersen that makes it the first corner his. Look, he just dives underneath Rickardsson, pushes him out. Just for a moment, it looked like Zagar might be able to get to second spot, but Rickardsson winds it on down the back straight and gets into that vital second spot. They're the two world champions going at it into the first turn. Nicky Pedersen really showing great speed. You've got to say he's such a tenacious rider and really rode a storming semi-final here.
Well, let's hope semi-final 2 is just as good. Here is the lineup for it. Thomas Gollop in red on the inside. Jason Crump in blue in gate 2. Lee Adams alongside him, the two Aussies together, and Scott Nicholls of Great Britain on the outside.
Yeah, not easy for Scott Nicholls on the outside. That gate hasn't been working well tonight. Really has got to come up with something special, but Nicky Pedersen, he's through to the final. Quite clearly, he's still nursing that wrist injury, having to ice it in between the heats. Obviously taking its toll as the evening progresses.
Second semi-final then. Watch out for the Aussies, Lee Adams and Jason Crump. Away they go. Nicholls doesn't get away well, but a better start from Gollop at the inside. Scotty Nicholls cuts back, but it is Thomas Gollop out front and round the outside. Lee Adams, brilliant start from him, and Lee Adams picks up the lead now from Gollop, and Crump going round the outside.
Yeah, terrific move there from Lee Adams down the back straight. Really got to the front, but what a move there from Gollop to stop the run from Jason Crump. Very forceful indeed, but look at Adams out front, showing plenty of speed.
And Crump's got work to do now. He's got Gollop in front of him, and Adams looks as though he's already wrapped this up. So it's all on Crump to make it through. Can he beat Gollop? Gollop's been superb all night. Can he stop him?
Well, he's going to have to work very hard. Gollop is really riding a smart race here. Crump really beginning to get very desperate. He could lose ground in the World Championship. Don't remember the World Champion Rickardsson already in the final. Jason Crump trying everything he knows to get into second place.
It's close now, but Jason Crump's got to make another move on Gollop. Nicholls is at the back, and here comes...
Oh, drama there for Lee Adams. He's losing power. Unbelievable bad luck for Lee Adams. Had the race won. That is massive good fortune for Jason Crump. It means he goes through to the final.
Gollop takes the win, and Crump is through, but how lucky was that? Adams, what can you say? Catastrophe. And a look at the result then. Thomas Gollop, another win and through to the final. Who's to say he can't win here? Jason Crump, just a little bit lucky, you have to say. Scotty Nicholls at the back, couldn't make it through. And poor old Adams conked out.
Yeah, it's such a cruel game sometimes. He deserved that final spot, but clearly ran out of speed at the wrong time. Here we see it once again. Jason Crump away from the tapes. Gate 2 wasn't the call. It was the inside gate that's worked best in both semi-finals. Gollop hits the front there for just a moment. Nicholls tries to force his way in up the inside. But look out, the man on the outside here, Adams, showed fantastic speed down the back straight. He gets to the front and really should have stayed there, apart from the mechanical failure. Once again, it's Gollop around the inside. Crump there gets forced up and squeezed up by Nicholls on the inside. And here comes Adams down the back straight. A great ride, but a disappointment at the end. He had this race sewn up, and quite clearly he has a problem. Could well have been an ignition drama coming off the last corner here. Runs out of power, runs out of speed, and that allows Gollop to hit the front, and Crump comes through for that vital second place.
An excellent night continues, though, for the pole. Thomas Gollop. First final he's been in since that win at Bydgoszcz last year. And who's to say this year can't be his? He's never won a world title. The way he looks right now, he's looking every bit a world champion.
Yeah, a bit of disappointment once again for there. Oh, you can understand that from Adams quite clearly down in the dumps, but plenty of drama going on in the Crump camp here. They're all very pumped up indeed, but one man who isn't is Scott Nicholls.
Yeah, but yeah, only get points if you do work hard, you know, and I suppose I'm pleased I got 9 points to make the semi-finals. I'm just really disappointed that I didn't make it through to the final, you know. Gate 4 was going to be very difficult, especially against the top 8 in the meetings. But I gave everything I could. Lee Adams, I feel sorry for him. Out in front, had the engine failure, and sort of, I was going for a big run on the last bend. Whether I'd have got round or not, nobody knows. But it's just hindsight. I'm frustrated, but I take the positives out of this one and go through to the next one.
So then, on to the final. Lee Adams will have to watch. What a shame, because he should have really been there. Here it is then. Tony Rickardsson in red from the inside. Jason Crump in gate 2. Thomas Golub fired up in 3 in white. And Nicky Pedersen. What a lineup, Kelvin.
Fabulous lineup. Rickardsson this time not going for gate 2. Decides that the inside gate's for him. Crump there on gate 2. Nicky Pedersen on the outside. What can he do from there? Hardly any race wins at all from the outside tonight. Really has been very difficult indeed. Golub there on gate 3. Really showing terrific form in the semi-final.
3 world champions as we look at the 97 world champion. OK, then here we go. The final of the first Grand Prix. A little bit of movement there from Crump, but he gets away well. Jason Crump gets the lead. Just ahead at the moment.
Here comes Nicky Pedersen. What a move from the Danish rider. Splits the riders down the back straight. Massive effort from him. Oh, this is sensational stuff. Nobody's been winning from that outside gate. The race is on now.
And would you believe it? Rickardsson's at the back. Unbelievable stuff. But it's no, they touch. They're all touching there, Nicky Pedersen and Jason Crump. It's good, clean racing, but they are actually banging bikes.
Unbelievable stuff on that opening lap. Crump and Pedersen rubbing shoulders and elbows as they went over the line again. Terrific action. Unbelievably, Rickardsson was left at the gate. Nowhere going there. Golub hanging on to 3rd place, but the action's out front.
Without a doubt, Nicky Pedersen and Jason Crump, they both won it. You saw how well Jason Crump was, and Jason Crump takes the lead from Pedersen, but Pedersen says no.
How did Pedersen hang on to that? They were rubbing there as they went round that bottom corner. Here once again off the turn. Crump has to come out of the throttle. Pedersen determined to hang on to the lead.
And Nicky Pedersen with 1 corner to go is going to take the Slovenian Grand Prix. The first win of the year goes to the Dane. And how emphatic was that?
Fabulous speedway race there. Crump was definitely played his part, but you've got to give credit to Pedersen. He came from nowhere coming off that first turn, and he goes on to win the Grand Prix, the opening round of the World Championship.
Jason Crump pushed him all the way, and Nicky Pedersen doesn't like it any other way. He wins the first Grand Prix of the year. Would you believe he's having an operation on that wrist next week, but hopes to be back for the 2nd Grand Prix in Poland. That's his first win in 2 years, and he did it in style, just beating Jason Crump. First blood then to the day. Big points though for Jason Crump. He's right where he needs to be, in contention for the overall title. Likewise, Thomas Golub could be a contender this year. And look at the world champion in 4th place, but don't ever count him out.
Here we see it again. Terrific start there from Jason Crump out of gate 2, but it's here we see him coming into the first turn. Look where Nicky Pedersen has to come from. He gets knocked wide by Golub. Golub goes too wide, leaves a massive hole for him. Pedersen finds an extra bit of drive, hits the front. That was a sensational move. You see it once again. Crump makes a great start across Tony Rickardsson. He thinks the first corner's his, but Nicky Pedersen's got other ideas. Look where he comes from. Fabulous move from the Danish rider. Really hits the front in dramatic style. Here they are, rubbing shoulders. This is sensational stuff. You've got to remember, these guys are going absolutely full gas. And you've got to say that both these riders put on a tremendous show. Nicky Pedersen there, absolutely determined to hang on to the lead.
Well, he knew he'd have to come from the back. Gate 4 had been rotten all night, but Nicky Pedersen knew he could do it, and he did. Let's hear from the top 3 now, starting with Thomas Golub.
Yes, I'm very lucky today. It's my day, and 3rd place in the 3rd gate in the final. It's no problem. It's a good race today. I'm testing new bike, new engine, my GM. Very happy. Thank you.
I was a bit annoyed, to finish 2nd there, because I nearly had Nicky a couple of times, but he rode a great race, and feel sorry for Lee, because I wasn't even on the way to the final, but that's the way racing goes, I've come out of here a few times with my head down, and you got to take any chance you get. The year I won my championship, I came 2nd first time out, so I need a win next time, then I'll be on the way.
Well, I said to Jason before we picked the choice, I said, I got the last gate, but watch me, I'll be coming from the back, and I definitely promised that, so I'm very happy, for the boys' work today. They worked fantastic. No one have won a race of gate 4 tonight, but the boys, they trusted me, said if only one can do it out there, that would be you. And we did right in the first and second turn, you know, and it worked fantastic. But Jason was right behind me all the time, you know. He pushed me a lot, but I managed to keep him behind. That was fantastic. It's unbelievable.
A superb night Speedway, and after one Grand Prix, Nicky Pedersen leads it with 25 points ahead of Jason Crump with 20, Thomas Gollop third with 18, Tony Rickardsson starts his campaign to try and get that 7th title with 16 points and 4. Lee Adams misses out, sadly, in 5th. Further down, disappointment for Andreas Jonsson and Lee Richardson. Greg Hancock doesn't get a good start to his campaign. Not a good night for Bjarne Pedersen or Jaroslav Hampel.
Yeah, delighted Gollop there with his 3rd place, and Nicky Pedersen also. Refreshing to see a new face once again on top of the rostrum.
Yeah, brilliant night for the Great Dane, Nicky Pedersen. Next time out in round 2, it's Poland. Round 1's been stunning. Hold tight, we've got another 9 to go.